What's up, YouTube? Today we are going to be installing a clutch cable on a 2007 Yamaha R1. It's frayed on the end of it. If you can see, focus, there you go. And I'm going to show you as we get to the end of this new cable, when we go to put it in at the handlebars, I will show you the reason it probably did this. And probably over time, it was stretched out, needed to be probably changed, probably been tightened too much. But all right, after you get the old one off, and you will see how to do everything. You go ahead and put this in, and you put it in here in this bracket here. Make sure your nut is all the way down, and this nut here is tight on here before you stick it in up here on your lever, because you're gonna need that slack. And by doing this nut right here all the way in, it's going to keep it in this bracket, and it won't let it come out. When you go to put this part in, right there, you've got a little clip right here that's going to hold that in. All right, so you put it in, and you push it back up. Try to pay attention to how it's run when you're taking the old one off. But it goes right up through here, over the radiator right here, with the radiator hose, up through the middle of the handlebars, and there is a bracket. It's got a loop right there to where it goes through to guide it, so that it won't get tangled up, anything like that. Because you definitely don't want you riding down the road and you go to turn and somehow it presses your clutch in or whatever while you're riding. So I've got it run up through there. Now all you got to do is put this piece in here. Once you get it, give me 1 second and see if I can't get it squeezed up in there. Need me a cameraman out here. There we go. Just presses up in there. Push that in the center. Make sure everything is lined up right there. It goes in. There you go. Once you get it in, come about, show a little bit of thread. You don't want too much, because this is where you're going to adjust it. Instead of having to adjust it down there, you can adjust it here as much as you can. Then you might have to go later on to get a little more slack out of it. But when you do this, make sure this slot here is facing toward the front of the bike. Simple fact, when you do your clutch like that, see how that cable is going toward this way? You don't want that slot on that back side, because it's going to tear it. And more than likely, that's probably what happened in this case. I didn't look at it whenever I took it off to see if that's what it was, but if that's the position it was in. But just make sure you have the slot toward the front of the bike. It's not going anywhere. It's sitting pretty far down in there. So, but this is how much slack he's got on his clutch, which you want a little as far as your play in your lever. Not that much. You just want about that right there. See that gap? So, all right. So now this is where we're going to tighten it here. You don't want it pulling in on your clutch here. See? That's pushing in on it right there. So just enough to take some slack out. Okay, so it's getting a little better. We'll take the slack out of it from up there, but I want to show y'all here how much I got it in. All right, now, so this is where we're going to adjust it here. Got to get some of this play out of it. And of course, that's where it locks it. All right, so y'all see I've got about 3 threads showing on this side. And whatever's left over here, it's like about 5 or 6. And you've got the, if you have this here, that's about where you're going to want to set it. Depends on what kind of levers you got. He's still got stock levers. And you see it's got a little bit of play right there. So it's not too tight. It's perfect. And like I said, on this, be sure you've got that slot facing toward the front. And you'll be good. And we're going to take this bad boy for a ride. I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode, and I hope it's helped y'all out. Y'all please hit the like and subscribe down there for me. Alright. See how well this clutch is adjusted.